So recently someone reached out to me asking to teach him a few dance moves so he can feel confident dancing at an upcoming wedding that he had. And he wanted to pay me $1,000 for it. And I said no. And I'll explain why. Mind you, John, let's call him John, he was the type of person who would always avoid the dance floor. He was very uncomfortable dancing in social situations, so he just wouldn't do it. He said he had no skills, he had 2 left feet. If you can relate, if you're that type of person, keep on watching, because this video will save you a lot of time and a lot of money if you're taking dance classes and you're not seeing results. Before we start, I prepared a brand new guide for you on 7 steps to start feeling and looking great on the dance floor. This will be super helpful for those of you like John who tend to avoid dancing, who feel uncomfortable, who always would rather stay on the sidelines. Everything that you need to know to be prepared for dancing in 2024 is there. 7 steps, not 700, to feel confident. You can download it at a link below. It's free. So what are you waiting for? Grab it below and let's get into the video. Now, back to John. I didn't say no to be mean to him. I just simply know that learning 5, 10, 20 moves, or even 50, it won't make you feel confident dancing. So it basically will be a money wasted. Even if he spent that amount on just learning the moves, he wouldn't like the results anyway. Even with those moves, he will still force himself to get onto the dance floor, and he will still be looking for excuses to leave the dance floor after a song or 2. So basically, by learning the moves, his situation won't change and he wouldn't be happy with the results. That's the reason I said no. And the reason why just learning the movements is not going to help you dance better or feel confident is as follows. This is what I want you to remember. Spending any amount of money on learning the dance moves is money wasted if you're not building the skills necessary to be able to, 1, use those moves on the dance floor, and 2, skills necessary to make those movements look good on you. And let me demonstrate quickly. Let's say I'm doing 4 or 5 moves, just very basic moves, but I look confident, I know I'm doing them correctly, I look comfortable dancing, versus me trying to fit in more steps into one song, but kind of doing them poorly, not being sure that I'm doing those movements right. What looks better? Tell me. Like, I think the first option. Let's see what exactly is going on the dance floor when you're at a party, so that you are prepared for the dance floor. Okay, so you're on the dance floor, the song starts playing. Yes, of course, you have to have a bank of movements, a movement repertoire, right, that you can use, and you have to know what to do, like what movements to do right away in a matter of split seconds. But not only that, you have to also know how to match those movements to the music correctly, because we have to dance with rhythm. It's like one of the requirements. You have to know how to move different body parts at the same time, so the movements look well put together. You have to know how to transition from one move to the next without stopping and thinking, what do I do next? Everything has to flow together. Those are the skills that you need to be able to use the movements that you have. I truly believe that to feel confident on the dance floor, 2 things have to happen. Those are a must. 1, you have to know that whatever you're doing is 100% correct. That means doing the movements correctly. That means connecting the movements to the music the right way. That means knowing how to move different body parts, how not to do too much or too little. So having the skills, but also you have to like the way you look dancing. If that's missing, even the skills, even the fundamental dance skills won't help you. So you have to like how the movements look on you, how effortless you look doing them, how you can do them without thinking, putting too much thought into it, how relaxed you look. All of that has to be there. So it's not just the moves, there's much more that goes into it. So John will still feel like he has 2 left feet even after learning a few or several dance moves, because if you think about it, that coordination that's required for him to be able to make those movements look good on him, that takes a couple of months, even a few months, right? It's a process. Depending on how fast you learn, it will take some time. It's not going to be like a 1 week or 2 week thing. So that's coordination. Now, without rhythm, because we know he doesn't have rhythm, he won't be able to take those movements, even if they look good on him, and connect them to the music correctly. And therefore, once he's on the dance floor, he still will have those thoughts in his head. Am I doing it right? Am I on beat? How do those moves look on me? Because the skills are not there. He will be second guessing every step, which doesn't leave much room for just enjoyment and being able to feel free and express himself, right? If we have those thoughts constantly in our heads while we're on the dance floor, not a good situation. Once you have dance foundation, once you have a solid dance foundation, this is when you can start to work on expanding your movement repertoire and learning new movements and bringing in new things. But if the foundation is missing, if you don't have the basics, learning the moves is wasting time. You're just doing it to kill time, to do, something. I'll learn something here, I'll learn something tomorrow. It's kind of like keeping yourself busy, but it's not going to bring you the effects, the results that you want. So this is what I want you to do instead. You want to ask yourself, what is difficult for me specifically? And you will have some good clues if you tried learning how to dance before, whether it was just by yourself, from tutorials. If you took group classes in the past and you felt like you couldn't keep up, that's a sign of your coordination needing work, because usually, it's physical. So you maybe can't move the upper and lower body at the same time easily, or it takes you longer to process a step and to be able to execute it yourself. This is what you should start doing. Build your coordination very, very gradually. Be patient with it. Don't try to attempt to move everything at once. Usually each movement, it has a lot of moving parts, feet, knees, hips. Even with the movements that I teach on my channel, you'll see there's a lot going on. But don't be overwhelmed with all of that. Start with the foundation of each movement. And the foundation of each movement is usually what happens with the lower body. So first, make sure you get the feet, if the movement has footwork in it, or whatever is like the lowest body part that I'm showing. If I'm moving the hips and arms, then you have to start with the lower body part, which is the hips. And only once you can do that well, only when you're comfortable without rushing the process, add something else to it. So for example, arms, right? So then you can already do 2 layers at a time. But if you cannot do 1 layer correctly, there's not a chance that you will be able to move 3, 4, 5 different things at once. It will look like a mess. So build coordination gradually, challenge it gradually. Now, if you learn the moves, but you notice that you have a problem with using those movements when you're at a party, usually there are 2 issues. One is you cannot use the movements to different songs by yourself. So you don't know how to apply them to different songs. That's a sign that you have to work on rhythm. Or you find yourself not knowing what to do next, like how to transition to the next movement. You feel stuck on the dance floor. So that's a sign that you have to practice transitions before you get onto the dance floor. They're not just going to happen, or they're not going to be easy for you if you've never practiced them before, if that makes sense. And this is how you can do that. Any movement that you're learning, do it to random songs, not just a song in a tutorial, but actually put your Apple Music or Spotify playlist on shuffle and try to match the movements to the music. Now, a lot of the moves that I'm teaching, I'm matching them to the snare drum. If you have been watching my channel, you already know the snare pretty well, but I'm going to link my rhythm playlist below. I explain exactly how to do it. It will be super helpful. You can start there because it is one of the most basic rhythmic patterns to follow. Not the only one that people follow in the club or at a party, but the most basic one. And to practice transitions, any movements that you're learning, see if you can mix and match them on your own. Not really memorizing like a sequence of steps, because that won't look natural on the dance floor. People will be able to tell that you prepared a sequence ahead of time. But any movements that you know, create those different combinations between them on the spot, on the fly. You can do it also to like random music, so that you're preparing yourself for dancing in a specific social situation. Like you have to practice the same way as you would dance when you're out there. So fundamental dance skills is of course one of the things we need to be able to feel good dancing. There's only 7, right? Not 70 or 700, 7 steps to feel finally confident dancing. And I included all of them in my new guide. You can grab it at a link below. Start implementing all of those steps and watch how your social life changes. And if you're tired of faking it, we can completely transform your every social dance experience for the rest of your life. And I invite you to learn the right way. In my online program, over the next few months, we will build not only your fundamental dance skills, but also your confidence specifically for dancing in front of others, so you can thrive in any social dance situation. I work with adults approaching 30 or over 30 years old who notice that every single party they go to is the same story, it's the same situation. They either have to force themselves to dance, or they stay on the sidelines, they avoid dancing altogether, and they notice that this is impacting them negatively. Their self-confidence, their ability to connect with others, their time on the dance floor, their time at those parties. If you're really serious about changing how you approach those social events, how you feel at those social events, I invite you to book a call with me at a link below. You can book a free strategy session with me where we'll identify the issues that are specific for you, and you'll have a plan on how you can fix them. And hopefully we can work together inside my online program. I'm super excited to hear from you and talk to you, and cheers to lots of dancing in 2024. How exciting is that? Like, you will be able to enjoy yourself at any single party that you go to. Like, imagine your friends' reactions to your dancing when they've never seen you dance before. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you found this video helpful. There will be a lot more videos on my channel coming up, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you hit the notifications bell and like this video so more people can see it in the algorithm. I really want to help everyone dance because it sucks to be on the sidelines and just like watch people enjoy themselves. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.